Okay, good morning. Let me know that you can hear me, please. Good morning, good morning. Okay, I'm not late. I'm here. Welcome to the GDP Trade Room. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember all trades we discuss for educational purposes. It's possible to lose money trading futures. Okay, just want to make a note. I was thinking of a magnet trade on gold right before the price fell out of bed. I would have been stopped out on that magnet trade. Now, I want to be honest, I didn't do any analysis. I didn't look at anything. I wouldn't normally recommend that you just jump into a trade just because a chart looks a certain way. You want to look, is there a bullish tendency? Is there a bearish tendency? What's going on with the index, et cetera, et cetera. Um, ATRs today are a little bit down, a little bit quieter on my gold ATR, meaning looking for stops. It's only about 7-ish on the ATR and gold. Oil around 10. We've been using a formula times 3 to come up with reasonable stop sizes. So just a heads up on ATR. The real the real issue, we're here for US GDP. And the US GDP has been a setup that's been really difficult over the past year. We've been trading it with gold for a while. We've been trying it with other setups and Q, and we've tested it. And today it's also trading with Thursday unemployment claims. I'm keeping my news off to the side this morning. Very honestly, depending upon your risk tolerance, it's high risk, in my opinion, to trade full size contracts on the GDP report because we have not traded it live with the setup we're using. The setup we're using is a range. It tests well, but we haven't traded it live. Now, we have been trading Thursday unemployment claims with the range when it trades with or without other news. And there's also a minor issue regarding the length of the range. I think the range might be a little bit safer if it's increased by 5 seconds. I traded it that way last week and it worked on Thursday unemployment claims. I believe it was unemployment claims on Philly Fed last week. And also, one of our members traded it live with the 5 second range. It worked fine on both. And generally, our testing has shown that both of them are okay. The slightly longer range looks a little bit safer. But the real issue is the GDP reports have not been, they haven't been, there's been all sorts of problems with the reports, not even with our setups, but the news hasn't been coming out on time. In March, the last report, the news didn't come out. So if news doesn't come out, you really should cancel a range trade because it becomes meaningless. A range trade is based on the whole point that the news is going to come out at the right time. And that's the whole point of having a range, right? So you could hear, I was listening to the audio on this video. It was 20 seconds after 8:30. The news hadn't come out, and that would nullify our ranges. So if you're trading and you have a range, and you notice, obviously, we should notice that the news is late, you might want to cancel your range just because it's not valid anymore if that happens. So, it's a difficult decision whether you want to risk, a lot of money. You're talking about risking a pretty decent sized stop for GDP. You have to use, at least a 30, 40 tick stop on GDP. It's potentially $200 a contract. So honestly, my gut feeling, because it's been so problematic in its live trading, it might make more sense if you're going to trade it, use the MNQ this morning. It's not like you can't lose money on the MNQ. You can, but we can get a good idea if the setup is good and the risk is a bit lower. So these are just thoughts I was thinking about. We do have the gold open this morning, and the markets, they look, gold is strangely, normally when we've been coming in to look at gold, we've been seeing it, up $12, up $10. But since last night, it's in a fairly tight range compared to what we normally see. On a 15-minute chart, you could see that overnight, before the day ended, before midnight, it started selling off. And then it's come back and made new highs since. And it's hovering fairly close to the highs right now. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean anything for the open. We're not really looking for specific direction with the open. We're just looking for a good signal, okay? We're not analyzing whether gold is up or down. We're just going to try and take the best signal. That's how we do the opens. And that doesn't change, okay? But I like to just look and see what the index has been doing. If it's super volatile, you might get a better, more significant move at the open. If it's very, very quiet, you might get a quieter move, but none of those rules really hold necessarily. So, either you're going to trade the open or you're not. I mean, that's how we do it. We've been using the micros. So I'll do my normal trade, but the real issue is what to do with GDP. And I'm not really comfortable, I don't think, trading big stops this morning on GDP. I want to see, I'd like to see a GDP report that works properly. And the last two, the news has been problematic. They've been difficult reports. That's the truth. So my gut feeling is to use the MNQ. That's my gut feeling getting started this morning. So let me put on first thing I'll put on is my gold open strategy. And my gold open strategy is a template. I do it the same almost every morning. The thing that we change is the stop size in general. We use the squeeze play. Now, I'm not going to use as big a target on my second target because I'm not going to have time. I have to go to GDP. Usually, I might even combine my orders just to get a quick hit in the morning. We'll see. We'll see. So I'm looking for 8, and I'll cut my second target in half to 30. The stop is 22, which I think it's pretty close to fitting the ATR that I have. And I always use the range 1, 1, and 1. One click bar look back is a 1, and ticks above the range and below the range are a 1. Stop of 22, targets of 8 and 30. And I'm moving my stop to break even -4 if my first target gets hit using the target 1 stop move part of the strategy. And I'm willing to trade it. So that's my gold open setup. I'm going to check my time sync. And my time is in sync. So here's unemployment, okay? 6 above, 6 below, a range of 830 to 830.05. I'm going to go to 830.10, okay? I'm going to go to 830.10. Targets 15 and 35 with a stop of 25. I think the stop is small. That's the problem. I think the stop is small, okay? I think the stop is small. So ticks above 6, ticks below 6. The range start time is 8:30. So I'm just, what I'm struggling with this morning is if I want to risk $300 or $400 on GDP when I'm a little bit uncertain about the range because the testing's been tough. I think the stop is too small. I think the stop has to be at least 40. At least. I think even 40 could be small. 8, 30, and 10 seconds. It's a range trade. I'm going to save a quick GDP template so that I have it in case I have to do any changes. So right now I've got 6 ticks above the range, 6 ticks below, graphic shown on chart. The start time is 8:30. One position for 15 ticks, one for 35, a stop of 40. If it hits my first target, I'm going to move my stop to break even -10. I'm going to move it to break even -7. Protect the little profit, but if it reverses fast, then I should be able to get out about flat, close to flat. And I'm tempted to try it with the full size NQ. I don't need to put the trade on yet. I'm tempted to try it, but it's a lot of risk. I have other trades that I'm taking today that I'm a little bit more comfortable with. Some I'm more comfortable with. Some are not that great. Not every day has great trades. Sometimes there's challenging trades. But I think everybody understands that I think I always tell the truth, pretty much. I try. It's hard to hide when people watch what you do. It's pretty hard to hide. I mean, are you teasing me, Mark? Or are you being serious? I think I tell the truth. When I trade poorly, like I did in earnings yesterday, I'm the first to admit it. So, I'm doing my normal gold open, and my decision is, do I want to risk full size on the MNQ when I am uncertain about the setup? Okay, not that there's anything wrong with the setup, but GDP's been a troublesome release. The news has been late. Um, there's been a lot of whipsaws, which we try to take care by using a range. So my gut feeling is I'll probably use MNQ and concentrate on the reports that I think will give me the best shot for a bigger profit today. I think that's the trend I'm leaning towards. Lee is the best. Chantal, you're the funniest person. I could probably go on a shooting spree in an elevator and Chantal would still like me. Chantal likes me. She thinks I'm nice. I am nice. That's the truth. I am nice. By the way, I don't think Elon Musk should buy Twitter. I don't think he's going to buy Twitter. There's a lot of reports that he's not going to buy Twitter now. The guy's a social misfit. I don't care what you think or what you say about him. He doesn't know how to act as a human being. He's brilliant, but he's a freak of nature when it comes to social behavior. He shouldn't be running Twitter. It's that simple. Shouldn't be able to. Shouldn't be allowed. And then, of course, you have people that look at him like he's a god. He's not. He's a person. He's a smart guy, no doubt. He's done great stuff. The Boring Company is awesome. SpaceX, amazing. Tesla is fantastic. But he attacks people. He's an insider trader. He's not a fair guy. I mean, and no billionaire is a fair guy. You don't get to be a billionaire by being fair. Let's see what happens here. So I'll try and take the best signal. Now, it doesn't matter that it says oil open. My setup is the same. I just loaded my oil open template. That's all that means. I went over the setup, so don't let that worry you. So I'm going to hesitate. I'm going to hesitate. I'm not going to take the first signal, and I don't care if I miss trades. So, I mean, that's a good signal, but it's the first signal. I'm not taking the first signal. And you notice it was a strong signal. There wasn't that much movement. Now, maybe that's the wrong signal now, but that's two in a row that looked to me like they were the right signal. Okay. I was going to make my target a little bigger. Okay, so I'm going to give it, it may trail me out. It's possible. I'm flat on my stop. I'm supposed to be break even -2, but I knew it was going to flip back. But I want to look at GDP. Okay, it hit my first target, so the gold open's been working pretty well. Now I think if you all want to critique me on that signal, I don't mind a bit if you critique me on that signal. I think that I took that signal. You tell me, did I take that signal perfectly or not? I want to know what you think. Did I take that signal properly? For how I got in, I'm not saying my management was good because I don't think my management was good. But because I'm really thinking about the GDP, what I probably could have done is just let the trade sit, okay? That's what I really should have done, just let it sit because I'd still be making money, okay? So going forward, I'll let the darn trade sit on it because every time we trade gold, there is going to be other news. So I really just have to let it sit. Okay. So I accept that. I'll let it sit next time. You should still be in the trade making money. That's the truth. You should still be in making money. If you traded it properly. If you traded it properly. Yeah, and I shouldn't worry about the news. Mark, I should let the news stop me out or make it a continuation of the trade. Agreed? I mean, I get it. I get it. I wasn't worried about the news and how it's going to affect my gold trade. I'm worried about managing and paying attention to the NQ. Okay. When you're trading by yourself and I don't have other people that I'm dealing with, it's different, you know? But I want you to critique me. I want the critique because I want to go to full size contracts soon. And I'm not going to go to full size contracts when I'm not trading well. Okay. I'll go when I'm trading properly. See why you should have been holding the trade? Short was the direction I wanted to be. That's the truth. I wanted to be short on that trade. So the NQ trade, really the issue is only whether or not you want to risk a lot of money, you know, a couple of hundred. I'm going to go with the MNQ this morning because only because I'm uncertain about the range. That's all. I'm uncertain about the range. But the way that I would love to trade this report is 3 targets. Okay. I would want to do like 13, 26, and 50. Okay. 13, 26, and 50. And if my second target gets hit, or even better, I can automate my stop movement. I can automate my stop movement. If the market moves 30 ticks, the market moves 30 ticks, it'll move my stop to break even. Okay. If the market moves 30 ticks, it'll move my stop to break even. And 2 of my targets will have been hit. 2 of my targets would be hit. But there is a risk to that because you don't want to do it that way because you don't want the move to be above your target because that would possibly put the stop in an incorrect place, which could generate an error. So I'll do it with the target 1 stop move this morning. Target 2. If my target is hit, if my second target is hit, I'll move my stop to break even +5 if my second target is hit. And I'm going to use MNQ. Okay, I'm going to use MNQ. I'm not a baby. It's not about being a baby. It's about risk management. Wally, I don't care about the aggressive price action, honestly. I think gold moves on the open. It just, I mean, you can almost say always, you know? You can almost say gold always moves on the open. I don't like to use the word always, but man, it moves. It moves. I really enjoy doing these opens, and we're getting good amounts of people early. Good morning, Kershid. Nice to see you on the tube. I bet you hit the like button. I'm betting that you did. So let me get this trade ready. We only have a couple of minutes. 6 ticks above, 6 below. Range is 830, ends at 830.10. 3 positions. Don't forget to put your third position. That's why I wanted to check myself this morning. 1326 and 50. Stop of 40. If my second target's hit, it's going to move to break even plus 5, and the range ends at 830.10. If I hear the news is late, then I will not, I'll cancel because the range is nullified if the news is late. Okay? It's nullified. I don't know about everybody else, but I have not had a decent night's sleep all week. I haven't been able to sleep at all. I'm not tired, particularly this morning. I just haven't slept well. All right. So I'm trying, I'm listening to Financial Juice. They get the news. I have the news on the side. Derek, yeah, I'm going to stay until natural gas. Yes, we'll stay till natural gas. Might as well, right? I'll have to take a few short breaks to heat the coffee. You know the routine. The logo version isn't out yet, Weldon. It's the new version. You have the current version if you've downloaded it from the website. We're about a month away from the brand. The new version's got a lot of great, it's going to have a lot of great new features. So let's see if the news comes out on time. That's the first question. We probably will see a whipsaw. So I think the news is late. I think the news was late, sort of nullifying. Okay, so it would have moved my stop to break even. It's very difficult to know for sure if this trade was completely correct. The news was definitely late. The news was definitely late, but it worked. It still worked. So I guess my gut feeling is we just can go with this trade. I think we can just go with this trade. So, well, then the new version will have the logo, and it should be about 30 days. For real. For real. So, of course, I'm aggravated that I didn't use full sizes, but I was a little bit untrustworthy of the setup because, and the news was late. It did not, they really hesitated for 10 seconds. It definitely was not on time. It probably should have been a canceled range, to be honest. But what I didn't, I want to see if we can count on the behavior or not. So the GDP was bad. That's bad for inflation. The market's not going to like that. Okay. It's not going to like that at all. Um, but the quarterly was down. So it's mixed news also. And the job numbers were a tiny bit worse than expected. This is not particularly good news, to be honest. But you have markets that want to go up today because they've been going down so much. So last week's Thursday trade worked pretty well, Derek, if I remember correctly. Let me, Derek, if you hang on, let me see if I have the video very easily accessible. If you give me last Thursday's date, was last Thursday the 18th? No, the 20th, 21st. Last Thursday might have been the 21st. The 21st. So that would have been 421. Bear with me. I don't know if I have it. Yeah, here we go. So here was last week, if that's what you're asking me. Wally, that's like a $300 full size trade. So, if you think about it, if you do that every day, it could pay for your mortgage if you have a mortgage, right? So it is a big deal. Small wins using micros can pay for your mortgage. Ask Fred. So last week we used the range, and I'm pretty sure it worked. And it was with Philly Fed. It was really slow, very slow. It didn't work. It didn't have much of a reaction, but eventually it did work. I mean, the range did work. It responded very slow last week. Very slowly. It responded very slowly. All right. Any questions, folks? Any questions? YouTubers, I want to thank everybody for watching us on YouTube. If you would hit the like button before we turn off our stream, and YouTubers, how about why not join us in the trade room? www.jointhetraderoom.com. It's a great deal. Yes, I traded Facebook yesterday, Christian, and I got stopped out, unfortunately. It had a whippy kind of move. www.jointhetraderoom.com. Come and join us. Okay. And today, if you were a member, you'd be seeing the bond trade today, and we have the natural gas. All right. There's plenty going on in the trade room. So thanks very much on YouTube, and we'll see you tomorrow. And then members, we're going to stick around for the oil open, right?